What's your favorite place to go in Minnesota? And it can't be your home, and it can't be an ice arena, can't be a cabin. It has to be like a place.
It can't be 601 in the parking lot of the Super Rink when the Squirtacular ends.
No.
Okay, because that's one of my favorite places.
It can't be related to the time of
That's one of my favorite places to be.
No, it can, because if it's like in the fall. I just meant it can't be related to the Squirtacular ending.
I'm joking. I'm just joking. I'm really looking for the Squirtacular, but when it's over, it's
sure you are.
That's what we tell ourselves.
It's a brick. It's been lifted off my shoulders. Do you want to go first? I got one. I got a really specific answer.
In St. Paul, it's W.A. Frost, the restaurant.
That's your favorite place in Minnesota?
I'm saying in St. Paul, it's W.A. Frost on the corner.
It's a restaurant. Was the question a restaurant?
I said a place, and I wanted it to be specific.
My other answer would be Bert's Cabins in Itasca State Park outside of Park Rapids.
What's W.A. Frost? I don't think I've ever
It's a restaurant.
It's an incredible restaurant.
Fancy pants restaurant.
It looks really cute on the inside.
That's where Laura and I had our wedding dinner.
That's cool.
Also has the best bartender in the state. His name is Daniel.
Wow.
He went to Robbinsdale Armstrong, but he will not play hockey with us.
All right.
I've tried.
My turn or your turn?
No, you go.
I'm going to go. We're going to get really specific. I'm going to go the 15th tee box of Northland Country Club in Duluth, Minnesota.
In Duluth.
So it's overlooking Lake Superior, and it's an easy downhill shot. So you really can't, unless you just pull it, you really can't mess up the shot. It's the one time of the day where you really are invincible, and you're looking out over Lake Superior, which is the most.
Do you still feel invincible when you're like sucking at golf that day?
No, because that tee shot's pretty easy. It's straight down this massive hill. So it's an easy tee shot. It's a beautiful view. You get to see Lake Superior. It's a beautiful. The view is amazing, and you just feel like, this is the closest place to heaven in Minnesota.
You golf?
I do.
I didn't realize that you golf.
Yes, I do. Good one, Peter.
I didn't realize.
How about you, Kayla?
Kayla Joe?
I didn't really actually think this question through.
Wow.
I always think about the question so much because I'm trying to get something that'll make you guys answer.
Come on.
I would probably say like on the boat with my family in the lake. Like not
which lake?
Big trout.
Big trout.
Which side of the boat?
And whitefish change. What?
Which side of the boat?
I always sit on the right side of the boat, right in front of my dad.
Is that like your spot?
I don't know. We've had a boat for our whole lives, so I feel like you kind of just get spots,
Yeah.
When you have something
I drive,
so
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's your spot, though.
My spot's the driver. I suck at it.
You're really good at driving boats,
No,
too.
I'm not. I suck at driving boats. I hate driving boats.
How do you suck at driving a boat?
Because I just do. I don't do it very often. I do it once a year. I rent a boat for 4 or 5 days, and I suck at it, and I admit I suck at it.
I'm convinced that, like, rental boats are just, like, the most damaged thing in the
this
world.
boat was, the one we had was unbelievable.
Yeah, but, like, you know how many stories I've heard? Jake's family sunk a rental pontoon.
Oh, I came close.
The insurance on that thing.
I came close. Not last year. A couple years ago I did. So.
Didn't you run it into
I hit
something?
a sandbar, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Need to stay up out the streets.
Welcome to 10 Minutes. I'm Tony Scott. It's not going to be 10 minutes today, baby. It's Squirtacular Preview. Peter Odney, Tony Scott, and Kayla Jo Franz ready to bring it home and get you guys ready for the Squirtacular. Are you ready for the Squirtacular, Peter?
It's never 10 minutes.
It's a joke. It's a joke, Peter.
It's never 10 minutes. I'm also more of a, you guys are sitting here talking about boats, and I'm more of a canoe guy, so.
That's a boat.
That's not a boat.
Technically a boat.
That's a boat.
It's not a boat.
It's a vessel that goes across water. I would count that as a boat.
You would count
also,
a raft
I
as a
can't fit
boat?
my whole family in a boat. So or in a canoe, I mean.
Yeah.
So mine is more like the people that I'm with.
Why don't you shrink your family?
Kill them off or what?
Wow.
Well, you could just leave some behind. Like, do you have to bring Alex with you?
I don't know.
No.
Alex and
first
Brett
one
can
enough.
stay
Alex
on
and
shore.
Andrew
Well,
can go get their own boat.
Brett has to be there because he's
Yes.
the only one that knows how to drive the boat. Well, technically, we do know how to drive it, but he's just better at it.
Really? Someday I think I'm going to get good enough. Like,
You can like
master the
race
boat.
him.
No, but I would never do that. But I think where I want to get to the point where I rent a boat twice a year, then I will be more confident in the boat skills.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to catch
No.
my dad in the boating
No.
life.
Nope, I doubt it. All right, we got a special show today. We have a special guest coming up later on in the show. Mike Larson's going to join the show from Eagan. He's going to talk about a project that they're working on in Eagan that's related to an outdoor rink. I'm excited to hear their story. And then after that, we'll talk about the Squirtacular and all of the great things that come with the Squirtacular, including pins that we're handing out, whether it's the player of the game pins or the Tony the Tiger pins, which will just be handed out to, I don't know what Jossie's got in store for those 100+ pins, but I'm sure she's got something going on.
Something with fireworks and balloons.
But before we do that, let's talk about our sponsor, Breakaway Academy. They bring us games of the past section of our show, which will be all the tournaments last weekend that we were at and seemed to observe. Talk a little bit about Breakaway. They've renewed their sponsorship with us for next year, which is exciting. We'll have some more Breakaway Student of the Week videos coming out, whether they're alumni or kids that played in the Pumpkin or kids that played this weekend in the Squirtacular or all about around the state. Should be fun to see those videos popping again. Peter, let's talk a little bit about the Skate for the Roses that past weekend in Stillwater. I know that Stillwater won the 10As, and I believe we have another Brownshausen making her way, don't we?
We do. Marin.
How many more are there? Could there be like 20 of them?
No, I feel like they're kind of like the Von Trapp family.
Yeah, they just keep on
just
coming.
A line of them, big fans of Austria. Marin Bronshausen had 5 points as the ponies went 3-0. A little 8-teamer bracket play.
Did Nora Cottville have 5 as well?
She did.
Sorry that I know that. I just do.
I don't know. I went over all this on Monday morning.
They got some good players on that team. They got two Team Minnesota girls, Paige McNeil and Nev McAlpine are on that team as well. So that's a good squad.
Stillwater also went undefeated and won the 12A championship, defeating Hastings, Minneapolis, Blaine, and Rosemount. McKenna Jones led that team in scoring with 8 goals and 10 points.
That's a good weekend.
Mm-hmm. And then at the 15A level, Rosemount goes 4-0. Allowed just
the newly christened top 10 Rosemount's team.
They only allowed 2 goals.
I saw that.
Throughout the tournament, the leading scorer for the Irish was another Team Minnesota gal, Audrey Lamantia.
Yes.
Whose father, Brett, does a live stream.
I bet he's good at it, too.
I bet he is, too. He's the nicest guy in the whole world.
Oh, he is. Really nice guy. What do you got? I know you were at the Moose Goheen on Sunday for the 2 championship games. I thought Chaskatchan gave Woodbury a little bit of a game. What does that tell us, that they are a sneaky region pick this year?
Chaskatchan? Yes, yeah. I would say a sneaky region pick this year. Enzo Giannetti had a good game, leading
that
scorer.
That kid's so good. Speaking of Squirtacular, he was in it last year. It was fun to watch.
He scored the first goal for Chaskatchan, and then Woodbury just kind of ground down the Stormhawks. CJ Dornfeld and Jimmy Miller are both 6'5".
So hard to play against those two.
Yeah, it's
and then you got little
impossible.
Skill guys like Chatlin and Kaiser and
Miles Schillings are defensive
Shiltkin.
partners.
Yeah, I know. When did Colton Chatlin become a defenseman?
Don't know, but Miles Schillings
all of a sudden out of nowhere
during the anthem to start the game. Miles Schillings was standing on the blue line next to Jimmy Miller.
It's like looks like the father-son game, doesn't it?
It did. It honestly did. But
yeah.
Woodbury is one of the biggest Pee Wee teams in the state.
Always had big guys. Remember George Bajelis and
Bellows.
What's that?
Bellows.
No, it's Bajelis. Trust me, I know.
Bajelis?
Bajelis,
okay.
Yes. George Bajelis.
Tristan Will was huge.
No, what was the other guy? The Bajelis and the kid who played. They both played quarterback.
Tanner Komrosky.
Yes. He played quarterback at Eastridge, and Bajelis was the quarterback at Woodbury.
Yeah, they grow them big.
God, they grow them always big had big D-men.
Big
players.
Tyson Southshider had a hat trick in the championship.
This is not
game.
surprising.
It is not. Jack Kaiser led the tournament
Oh,
with 8 goals and 18
this is shocking.
points. Yeah, and he was tied for the overall tournament lead with another player you've heard of before, Joey Cullen, who ended up with 18 points.
Wow, they both had 18 points in 5 games then, right?
Yeah, Minnetonka took
And
Moorhead.
by the way, Jack Kaiser, shout out to you. Nice work on your edit of
That was
our
fantastic.
talk last week.
Jack's got a real future in
We should just
digital
talk
media.
about him every week on the show, and then he makes an edit. So it'd be Jack's edit sesh. So
Jack's edits. At the Bantam AA level, Minnetonka took Moorhead to overtime. That was a lot of fun. With 6:55 to play, Dean Stevens scored a goal, and everybody in the building thought, "Oh, that's cute." Now it's
right?
4-2.
Yeah.
Mason Schemenauer scored.
Poured a bunch of praise on the morning commute on Monday.
I did. He has morphed into.
He's always been good.
Yeah, but he's starting to round out the rest of his game. He's moving players around on faceoffs. He was the first player to tap Cooper Corona's pads after Corona gave up a goal. He's turned into a real leader for this Minnetonka team. He scored just over a minute to play, and then Dino scores with 15 seconds.
Who's surprised?
Nobody.
Nobody's surprised.
Literally nobody. Forcing overtime. Brooks Suter scored on a backhander to end the game. Yes.
Peter, question.
Yes.
Did you have flashbacks to the state semifinal Pee-wees 2 years ago in New Ulm when you were going to overtime there?
No.
Not one flashback?
No,
When I saw us going to overtime, I had a flashback, and I was in Prior Lake, and I was in Bloomington.
The only flashback I had was bumping into Dana Coulter. And
Right.
Dana was along the glass.
You got the picture of Dana.
Oh, yeah, and he said, "I'm avoiding you for the rest of the game." Avoiding the camera for the rest of the game.
I love it. Dana's such a great guy.
That was a great game, though. I mean, Moorhead is obviously Moorhead, and Joe Molina and I did mention Will Arnold on the Monday morning commute because you get lost in this. Well, Owen Kraft is so good, and Joey Cullen's so good, and Henry Buttweiler's so good.
Coulter,
but the duo of Maddox Gregoire and Will Arnold, they're a fantastic goal.
Don't ignore them. Don't sleep on those guys.
Arnie had 23 saves in that game, and it was fun to see Brooks get a goal like that, and the team mobbed him, and it was fun. It was fun. That was
what a goal!
That was
what
one
a
of my.
great picture.
It was one of my favorite pictures that I got all year
really
because
good picture.
Brooks just looks so happy.
Yeah,
and that's what you want to see, right? The kids are excited.
Absolutely.
Owen Kraft is also. He understands the game within the game so much. He drew 2 penalties by giving a little, jerking his head back a little bit on a couple of plays, and you know what? That's part of the game. Is drawing penalties.
I love it. I'm going to look something up here really quick because the Roseville, because you're a big Roseville guy, Roseville Bantam.
I'll be there tonight.
Roseville Bantam Bees, check this out, Peter. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't count that high. I mean, literally, I cannot count that high. 1, 2, 3,
I thought you got a
4,
perfect
5,
score
6,
on your
7,
math
8,
SATs.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Figure it out, nerd.
20, 22, 23, 24. 28 straight games the Roseville Bantam Bees have won, including five of them were last weekend at Hibbing. So they were in Hibbing. We were amongst greatness. They were in Hibbing. They weren't playing in the Memorial Building on Friday night because we were broadcasting Friday nights, but they won the Hibbing Bantam Bees, and they've won 28 straight, and I needed to give them a shout out big time for their efforts, and they got to be number 2 in the state behind Prior Lake. So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the Roseville schedule right now just to see if I might bump into somebody when I show up at Roseville Ice Arena.
A legend
tonight.
you are, Peter, in their eyes.
No, I'm not a legend. I skate there twice a week, and I always run into somebody. There's always a team walking out as me and the other old men are walking in. But it looks like it's going to be a 12B game.
All right, well, that's not bad. I can think of worse things in the world.
White Bear Lake and Roseville play at Oscar Johnson at 6:40 tonight if anybody wants to go watch that.
That's fantastic. All right, we're going to take this to an interview with Mike Larson from Eagan Hockey Association. We are joined for the first time ever, a first unpaid guests on 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
We have Robert Braun and Mike Larson from, can I say you're from the Eagan Hockey Association? Are you still affiliated with them?
I am. I have a 4-year-old, an 11-year-old, and 13-year-old, so I'm with the Eagan for a long
You're very
time.
affiliated. You're very affiliated with them. And Mike, are you retired yet?
I'm pretty much retired, yeah.
Pretty much retired.
My kids are
Well-
done.
well,
Through Eagan.
Prior to your retirement, I got it as sometime in the year 2018, you had this great idea of buying a hockey rink. And there aren't a lot of you in this world, so let's learn about why in the world you would buy a hockey rink.
I guess the easier question is why wouldn't you, right?
Oh, okay. I like that.
So, yeah, I was at home. I was surfing eBay and found a refrigerated rink that happened to purchase. I didn't have a backyard. My backyard is a hill and woods, so I didn't have any place to put it. But we found a place pretty quick.
All right, so you bought it, and with the purpose of buying a 40 by 80 rink, which is the original mini rink that you guys bought,
Yes.
Was to get Eagan hockey players, your own hockey players, your group of people, you playing with your buddies. What was the purpose of getting this rink?
Yeah, good question. So, I grew up in northern Minnesota, up in
Where?
Pequot,
What city?
Pequot Lakes,
Okay,
just north
all
of
right.
Brainerd. And so I had never skated indoors until I was in fourth grade. So we moved from Pequot to St. Cloud in fourth grade. And up until that point, I'd never played inside. So I love outdoor hockey. Like, I grew up playing outdoors. The thought of being able to skate outside in November when it's not freezing like it was here yesterday, right? Like, it's just an awesome experience that every Minnesotan should have. And so I bought the rink with the hopes that we would find a place in Eagan to have the rink.
We being the
The
Eagan Hockey Association, all right?
Yes, yeah.
And
They weren't aware of the purchase yet, but they would be.
they would be
eventually.
soon. So when did this go down? So was it within days, weeks, or months of you purchasing it and it arriving from Wisconsin?
Yeah. It would have been within months. So
Okay.
it didn't happen just overnight. The first year, we weren't successful at finding a spot to put it, right? Except for a friend of a friend type of thing that had a home.
And was the friend in Eagan, Minnesota?
Yeah, they were actually in Rosemount, right on the border.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Same
so-
school district.
Same school district, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you had it. You put this 40 by 80 sheet in basically an empty lot. And how many people skated on it? Was it hundreds of kids or?
No.
Just
It was just a neat little neighborhood rink, essentially, where there was probably 4 or 5 of us that would maintain it.
A lot of 3-on-3, a lot of hosing it down. No Zamboni, no even pretend Zamboni or anything.
No.
Nothing.
No, just a lot of late nights flooding with it.
How many minutes away was this rink from your house?
5 minutes.
Oh, so it's close.
It's close.
All right. So now I want to get to the politics, and it's not really politics here, but so don't get worried. Donating this to the association, or the association kind of jumping on board with getting this rink put on Eagan property or Eagan Park property. What were the steps in that?
Yeah, sure. So it was presented to the association to purchase for what I bought it
Because
for.
you're in the rink marking up the cost of rinks and making money on rinks business, aren't you?
Yeah. That and
I'm joking.
Right? No, technical consulting and rink buying, I guess. Yeah,
Right,
That would be
right.
my forte. No, so we ended up leasing it to the association for the year.
How much was the lease?
It was $5,000.
Okay. So they used it. You're going to point your mic down
Sorry.
more. Point it down. There you go. Better. Okay. We're missing some words every once in a while.
No worries.
So you leased it back to the association.
Yep.
And then where did you put the rink?
So that's when I reached out to Mike McGuire, who's the mayor of Eagan. We happened to golf together. And so I just messaged him and I said, hey, Mike, what's the possibility that we could put a rink at a park in Eagan? And
believe it or not, right?
believe it or not, we actually had coffee. He brought in the city administrator, who's now retired. He brought in the park and rec director, Andrew Pimentel, who's not retired, who's very involved in this, and Paul Graham, who is retired as well. But within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we had agreed on a location that would work. It was Pilot Knob Park in Eagan.
That did not have outdoor ice.
It did have outdoor ice. It wasn't refrigerated. They did have a rink that Wasn't really used too much.
And how about did it have a warming house?
It did not have a warming house.
Okay.
And it did not have water on site. So the
There
warming
was a
house.
couple hurdles there.
There was a
Right?
couple of hurdles, but I was excited because they said yes, right? And
Right. We'll figure out the hurdles later, right?
Yep, we'll figure it out. And so that's when Robert came into the picture and became a really strong advocate for the mini rink, and the two of us pretty much spearheaded that entire project for the association.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Mike Larson, you give him an answer, yes, but there's hurdles. He figures out how to get it done.
Yeah, I believe that. Okay, so let's walk through. You guys had, oddly enough, when I'm going through this schedule, you have 2 years of dead time. You know, you put the rink up, you put it at Pilot Knob, everything's kind of going good. Then COVID happens, but you all the while, kind of in the background, are making things happen with the city, the Hockey Association. Without getting into too many details, walk through the process of donating $1.3 million to the city and then annexing basically this Goat Hill Park.
Yeah, so I was president at that, VP and president during that time of the Hockey Association.
I'm just talking. Anybody take notes as what these guys did, because you can be Hermantown hockey in a snap of a finger, because their stories quite well documented. They build outdoor rinks, and the success is really nice outdoor rinks, and the success follows. So I'm predicting lots of success from Eagan hockey as a result of this.
That's the hope. I mean, outdoor ice lends itself to more creative play, getting the kids out,
And don't get
just
me wrong, I'm not saying
randomly.
success. It doesn't need to be hanging state championship banners. Like, success is more kids playing, more kids having success. That's my definition of success. It doesn't necessarily mean wins and losses, but
Yeah.
success is more kids playing.
I mean, you point to the fact that Eagan now has 8 squirt teams, and growing. Between 10U and squirt next year, we should have 13.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, but going back to how we jumped from having a rink in a 44 by 80 mini rink, to donating money to the city in the tune of $1.3 million. It was a long time ago. Some good board members decided to start putting away money
Right.
for the purpose of doing a third sheet in Eagan.
Indoor third sheet.
Indoor third
It's
sheet.
the same thing as Hermantown.
Yep.
They just never could raise the money, so they just decided to build nice outdoor sheets.
Well,
Kind of what you're doing right
that's,
now.
That's exactly what we looked at. It's like, okay, well, we have this money sitting here for the purpose of doing this, and we need the ice with the numbers that we have coming up. So rather than going with the mini rink route and using that, we decided as an association, let's pursue working with the city to do a much bigger rink and doing a full size sheet, so approach the city in 2021, worked through them with that, and pretty quickly they were excited about doing a full size project. They actually had part of their master plan building a winter destination facility in Eagan, and this was going to be that facility. So Eagan Hockey Association donated the money for the refrigeration system, for boards, for the basically putting the concrete in and building the footprint of the rink. And since then, the city's now put money into a roof over the rink, and also a absolutely beautiful new warming house.
Warming
at
house,
Goat Hill.
Zamboni, the whole
Zamboni.
deal. So this is, I mean, granted, last night would have been a bad night to be outside.
My son skated and
Nice.
practiced.
Good for him.
Had an hour-long practice out there. We had
Good for him.
I think 12 of the 13 kids there.
Yeah,
So
I
Eagan
was
Squirt
amazed.
B1.
I heard a lot of those stories where kids were actually outside playing last night. Good for them. I have permanently frostbitten my fingers and ears and toes by doing the same thing. But don't worry, I turned out okay. But it's a big thing getting outside. But my experience in the generation of children I raised, we would have outdoor practices for our squirts and mites, and the moms would shut it down. The moms would be like, it's 28 and windy. We're not practicing. I'm like, well, when are you going to practice if it's not 28 degrees outside, But you're going to you could practice and be on this sheet upwards of 40 to 50 degrees outside, correct?
Correct.
So they say 55 and colder, and you're making ice. So it's the thought of having ice in November in Minnesota,
that's huge.
is awesome. Like there's nothing better than skating outside the first week in November. I'm sorry.
Well,
It's just-
plus when there's a lot of times there's no snow on the ground too.
Right.
So it opens things up. And for you guys, it gives you that hockey sheet you need on November 1st.
Right.
All the way to March 1st. It's fantastic. And quite frankly, you're saving the city and the association a lot. This investment is over. If you look over the next 10 years, how much money you saved the association by not having to operate a rink for another 8 months.
Sure.
That they're not doing that. This is really cost effective for everybody. And look at, you already have results showing that kids are going out on these outdoor sheets and they're practicing and they're playing, and there's growth in Eagan, which is fantastic to hear, because one of the problems with Eagan being a Bloomington resident is you guys are landlocked, right? You're landlocked by Mendota Heights, Invergrove Heights, Rosemount, Apple Valley. You're landlocked. You're not a growing community. So in order to grow hockey, you got to go out there and tie skates to 5-year-olds in order to grow your program, right?
Well, and that's part of having the outdoor facility and having a beautiful setting is it does drive the community aspect.
It's huge.
And I remember, when my son was a kindergartner, I didn't know anyone in Eagan, and I'd show up at the rink at 8:30 a.m., tie skates, stand there and watch them, and I don't have a hockey background, so I was, my brother-in-law basically encouraged my oldest to play hockey, and
the rest is history.
It wasn't an exciting thing to show up at the rink at 8:30 a.m., but then going Friday nights to Goat Hill Park before we had this facility, because it was 2 hockey sheets that were just outdoor sheets, and doing what's called hot dog hockey, where the kids eat hot dogs and play hockey for 3.5, 4 hours. That's the community building, standing around the fire. You get the parents outside of the rink and into a fun atmosphere that, we're recruiting and retaining the parents at times, because someone like Mike, his kids are going to play hockey.
Right.
Someone like me, my kids,
You don't know.
we don't know, and I'm indifferent. So,
Yeah.
now I'm not indifferent, and that community aspect that we've really driven with this facility. Now people look forward to Friday night hot dog hockey for our mites and below.
I think it's
even
really
more
cool.
so.
I got a story for you guys, and this is why I talked to you guys a little bit about this before we went on the air, and that was when I was involved in Bloomington, I went to the city and said we need to take the Zambonis, put them on a trailer, and go to Running Park on the east side and Westwood Park on the west side, and zam those sheets once a day, once a night, twice a night or something like that. And the look on their face was, you want to do what? And they literally, the meeting lasted probably 30 minutes, like in disgust. They're like, there's no way we're going to do that. Right. Well, and at the time, Bloomington's not the same as it was 15 years ago, but at the time we had no ice. We were buying ice in Eden Prairie and Apple Valley and Burnsville, all over the place. We couldn't get ice. So I was just trying to get a better setting for them, exactly what you guys were going to do. But I got the opposite response from our mayor that you got from your mayor. So hats off to all of the people in Eagan who, welcomed this. Oh, we got a gloss camera. That's Tony's camera. Nobody cares about Tony's camera anyway. So it doesn't matter. It almost went down a minute ago. It was kind of wobbling back and forth. But anyway,
and Tony, we can't say enough good things about the city of Eagan and the partnership we have with them.
It's phenomenal.
We hear like the speed at which we moved on this is super fast, and for us and Mike, we're like, well, we could move faster, but working through
from a city worker's perspective,
city perspective, they've been.
You were going down the Autobahn compared to where I was going. I was going into a dead end.
And now our second sheet at Goat Hill, there's a non-refrigerated covered sheet. They invested the money in doing concrete rather than asphalt there, and they run the Zamboni on that sheet. So two really good sheets of ice that we have access to. The non-covered sheets more community driven usage out there, but they get great ice to.
So there's another sheet right next to it?
Yeah,
non-refrigerated, but really.
Do
good
they
ice.
zam it?
Yep.
See, this is what you need.
Yeah.
This is exactly what Hermantown had, and I'm not saying just Hermantown, because all the city rinks in Duluth are volunteer Zamboni driven. And then before we wrap this up, I got to hear about your guys' story about learning to drive the Zamboni. First, you grew up playing hockey your whole life, and I'm guessing you didn't, Robert, right?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me about your experience driving a Zamboni for the first time, what it was like, because I've never done it.
Well,
I got to hear it. It's good stuff.
oh boy, this is a whole nother story, and I don't know if we should share the whole thing, but so we bought this over in Wisconsin.
The Zamboni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Was it Zamboni branded?
Yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
if you don't say it, sometimes they
Right,
get a
it's
little
not an
pissy
icer
about it.
surface,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a-
exactly.
it's a
All right,
Zamboni.
keep going. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, and so so we were both pretty excited about going over there. So I picked him up in an old car, and I've got an old Pontiac GTO convertible, right?
Yep.
So it was a beautiful spring day, and we drive over there. We stop in Hudson, had a breakfast sandwich, and an interesting event there where a guy may have chased us in his truck.
Wanting
Why?
to talk about the car.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about the car. But at any rate, we make it to what town were we in?
We were in Somerset.
Somerset, Wisconsin. Yeah. So, and we're all pumped because we get to go Zamboni shopping. And so this place brings us out to the lot with the Zambonis that are available for purchase used.
There's a used Zamboni lot in this world.
This is where
yeah.
Zambonis go to die.
This is a
Really?
This is a
Yeah.
graveyard. This is not something that you want to purchase. And so they showed us all of these Zambonis and like they were terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. And then finally we're like,
How do you know a good one?
Well, you could visually see the
It not working.
we don't know a
defects
good one
of-
from a bad one, but we
Yeah.
can tell a terrible one from a bad one. And
Right,
these
okay.
were terrible. And so we asked them if they had something different. And they brought us into the building where they had like 10 really nice Zambonis. And we're like, yeah, we want one
Yeah.
of these.
Right.
And so then we were able to agree to buy one. And
Did you have to go in and talk to his manager or something like that before you walked out of there with it?
No, they're
Like a
really
car
good to work with.
dealership?
They're good
great.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then that's when we were able to drive the Zamboni for the first time in their parking lot, not on ice.
Oh, really?
But in their parking lot.
So we were really
And,
excited about that.
We might have had Martin Zeller playing in the background, and
Yeah, probably.
yeah, it was a fun day. It was a really fun day.
But we had a parent in the association that had experience driving a Zamboni. So he
So was he the guy training everybody?
He was our
What's his
trainer.
name?
It is
It stumped it, didn't I?
Brian Christensen.
Brian Christensen. So has he trained everybody since?
Well, he trained an initial
handful
group
of
of
us.
people, and then those people trained
No
others.
way.
So you'd ride along in the Zamboni, watching someone drive it, explaining what to do, and then you could then train someone else how to do
That
it.
is my retirement job.
So
you know that, right?
it was a lot of fun, but
it's awesome.
I will tell you, it is nerve-wracking driving that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because especially going from where we were storing it, you had to drive across to the rink, and there's kids out there. And
Yeah.
like
What happens if you suck up a puck?
I
I don't want to know. I really
happens,
don't.
Robert?
Have you done that before?
so there were a
I have
couple.
taken yes. That
teenagers-
scares me too.
Well, there were a couple teenagers out there.
What's worse, a
From-
puck or a teenager? It's close.
Well, they weren't Eagan
like
teenagers.
people would
They
be
were from
happy if a teenager got lost. A puck gets lost. No, that's a big deal.
They were from a neighboring association. I don't
All right.
know if we
Yeah,
have
that one over there.
Yeah,
that one over there. And
Blue and gold
Yeah.
with maybe a little green in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I asked them to put the nets up against the side as I was,
Yeah.
and one of them decided to shoot a puck at
Oh,
the net.
jeez.
It deflected off, and then went right at the Zamboni, and I drive off, and I laid into these kids. I mean, they're like, "Well, I shot it at the net and it deflected." I'm like, "I don't," so I don't give a rip.
You know that I
Yeah.
still have the puck.
What's that?
I have the puck.
You still have it? Yeah.
I bet it looks like a waffle.
I'm gonna put it on a
right?
plaque and give it to him. Like I'm
I took
so excited
a couple
about
shovels and chucked them on the rink and told them to get to work and start shoveling it off. So they did, and then they left. I don't know if I've ever seen them again.
No.
But at the end of the day, it took 3 parents within our association that are
this. Mechanically inclined.
way more than me, a combined 2 hours, so six man hours to get this puck out of there.
Yeah, I believe it. It's your worst nightmare. We end a tournament and they get the gloves off and everything, and there's always a puck like stuck in the corner. I'm like,
yeah.
get that puck because we can't have the Zambi come on there because That'll set the rink back big time.
Yeah.
Just to not necessarily the time and energy to get the puck and fix it, but now you're down of a ZAM and now you're doing other stuff. So, okay, before we wrap it up here, I want to know one thing that you guys both learned from all this. You know, I've learned something from you guys, like don't take no for an answer, a lot of that stuff too. But what are some of the things you guys learned from all this?
You know, I've learned that people want to help. Like, the volunteerism that's happened from this has been tremendous. There's some people that, you know, think you have to pay for everything. Personally, I think a stronger association, or the strongest association, is run by a bunch of volunteers.
Yeah.
And the more people that take ownership in the project, the more they love the project and the more that it's going to be successful. And I personally think the reason why we have been as successful as we have is because of the volunteers.
All right, Robert, your turn on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, just being a resident of the city of Eagan, how strong of a city staff we have and how committed they were to this project and how excited they were. It makes me feel good about being a part of that community and, you know, working with them and seeing, you know, we had recognition last night at the city council meeting and talking about, you know, phase 4 of the project and doing more stuff out there and more stuff around the city of Eagan to do
more rinks.
And make it a better place to live. If you think about it, you go back and we'll wrap it up here, but being the youngest of 5, all played hockey, including my sister back in the 60s and 70s, That's by great. The way, is you look at back then, it was Wakota and it was Blake, and that was pretty much it.
Sure.
And then by 1970, 71, it was Burnsville, Bloomington, Braemar, you know, all in the areas that we use, but there weren't outdoor rinks. And I kind of go back and I try to think through, like, why did the people of Edina, the people of Bloomington, the people of Minneapolis, all these cities go, we need a rink? Because the community next door was building one, and people are moving to that community because they're building a rink. So it was a kind of a keep up with the Joneses, you know, Bloomington, Edina, Minnetonka, all those communities started to build them. If you guys do this, guess what's going to happen? Guess what domino is going to happen and replace this? People are going to follow your lead, just like they do just like every community has a dome now for their indoor sporting in the winter. Every community could have a Zamboni outdoor rink system like you guys have in Eagan. So not only are you doing it for Eagan, but you might be doing it for the rest of the city or rest of the Twin Cities, the rest of hockey. So my hat's off to you. Thanks for coming in and sharing it with us.
Absolutely. You know, before we go, there is one person that we haven't given a shout out to.
Let's hear it.
And Chris Fleck has been paramount to this entire project. He is huge, both just himself. He's like 6'13".
Yeah.
But we couldn't have done it the way we've
What
done
does Chris do?
So Chris is now he is the director of Park and Recs. Or not director. He's the
he's runs the
facility,
runs the facilities and maintenance crew. Yeah. And at the point he started with us, it was basically a special project that he was assigned to.
Yeah.
And now it's his.
Yeah, I mean he's been someone that has helped us really understand how
you need somebody that
things
can
move
be
through
the
the
bridge
city
between the crazy people like us that have ideas that are endless.
Yeah.
In the city where, you know, they have to do
They got budgets and
they got to do things in a certain way.
Zoning and all the other things that go with it.
Yeah. And so he's been paramount in helping us understand the city's perspective and him communicating to people at the city like what our perspective is. Because ultimately, it's a city facility. I mean, everything is owned and operated by the city.
Yeah.
With a significant benefit that Eagan has given to the Eagan Youth Hockey Association for usage every weekday night.
The beautiful part about it is it's not just the hockey people. This is the entire community gets access to this and actually use it. And they come together. So, hats off to you guys. Thanks for coming in today's show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you,
Mike Larson and Robert Braun from Eagan. Well, thank you, Robert and Mike, for coming in to tell your story about the Goat Hill rink that was put in Eagan. Peter, kind of a cool story. Unlike most people who go to the city and want to make a plan where you get kind of deflected away, and in Eagan, it was just the opposite. They opened those guys with open arms, and now it's a city-run outdoor sheet of ice with a roof on it and a Zamboni run by the city. So now they have 2 indoor sheets and they have a third sheet, which is really, pivotal to the growth of hockey in Eagan, which is why we had him on the show.
Well, that's great. I also like the fact that the hill is named after the greatest of all time.
Yes. Who is the greatest of all time?
The greatest of all time hill.
I know, but in your opinion, who's the greatest?
From Eagan?
Yo, that'd be a good one.
Like Michael Zajac.
I don't even know who that is.
Michael Zajac, Will Merchant.
These are guys that played for Eagan High School?
The last time Eagan went to state.
2015? I think it was 2015 they were at state.
I'll find out momentarily. Continue with
Wolf. Wolf was on that team.
Nick
Wolf was on that team. There you go.
Yep. Continue.
I will continue. All right. Now it's time to slide into our YHH Squirtacular preview. We can't do a preview without a sponsor, can we?
No.
And today's sponsor for the preview is General Sports. General Sports will be the title sponsor of the, do you want to grab the pin really quick, of the Squirtacular this year. Beautiful pin, the General Sports Player of the Game pin.
General.
Every winner of the General Sports Player of the Game will get this pin. We also have pins of our own. YHH Tony the Tiger pin as well will be handed out this weekend in Blaine. I'm excited for all the pins. I hope they shrink sometime, or we're just going to grow to the point where they're size of a manhole cover.
Where do people keep their pins?
Like a pin towel.
Oh, it's like
or a pin book.
The thing that
or a pin book. One of the two.
Okay.
Or a plastic bag.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Plastic bag. I hope they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that way it'll be easier to pick up all the plastic bags.
Because they'll be bigger plastic bags?
Yeah, so that you won't
opposed
need
to the little tiny plastic bags?
Yes.
I don't mind it. It's kind of funny, I think.
Yeah, because you don't have to pick them up.
I pick up plenty of them. I'd probably pick up 100 or 200.
You think littering is funny?
Yeah, I do.
You think littering is funny?
I do. I think it is kind of funny, actually. Sorry. All right. Let's roll up our sleeves and knock it out of the park for our preview this week. We're going to start from the Squirt B2 division, the bronze, and move our way all the way up to the AA division, which is the platinum.
Yeet.
We have 16 teams, a 16-team bracket. Let's move all the way to the semifinals of this bracket. Who do you have in the final four for the bronze bracket, Mr. Odney?
Well, I'm going way off the board here. I got Edina White playing Edina Green.
I got him playing Jefferson. Go ahead.
And then in my other semi, I've got Minnetonka playing Hermantown.
Okay, I have Hermantown as well at the bottom with White Bear Lake. And at the top, I have Edina White playing Jefferson.
Okay.
And then I have Hermantown winning the whole enchilada. Who do you have winning it?
I've got Hermantown beating Edina Green in the final.
So we both have Hermantown.
Yeah, you convinced me. You gave a very impassioned speech.
I think nothing would be finer for Hermantown playing to win another title in our tournament. They won in 2017.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And a lot of those kids, about half of those kids are on the varsity this year. It's kind of fun to see.
Very
7
cool.
years later. All right, now we're sticking to Squirt B1s, which is the silver division. I have 8 different pool winners. I'm going to read off my pool winners. Do you have all your pool winners?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to go White Bear Lake, St. Louis Park, Duluth, East Grand Forks, Edina Green, Orono, Woodbury Royal, and Sioux Falls. Who do you have?
Does it go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H?
This one
in
does.
order?
This one does, but the platinum does not.
Out of Pool A, I've got White Bear Lake.
Yep.
St. Louis Park.
Yep.
Duluth.
Yep.
East Grand Forks.
Yep.
Woodbury.
Ooh, okay. All right, got it.
I got Woodbury. Sioux City.
Sioux City over Orono, huh?
Yep. And I've got Omaha.
Oh, over Woodbury?
And Stillwater Red.
Ooh. See, I couldn't find any information on Stillwater Red, so I went with Sioux Falls on that one.
Well, on some of these, if I got to make a dart throw, I'm going with the biggest association.
Yeah, it doesn't
which
hurt.
might have the most kids playing at the B level.
I like that. So now in the semis, do you have St. Louis Park or White Bear?
White Bear.
You're going to go against Bob Evers, aren't you?
I've got White Bear Lake playing Woodbury.
Bob Evers coach team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going against him.
Happy retirement.
I know. That's exact. I saw him over at the the Benilde Andover girls game. And I'm like, I see you're retired from coaching. And he just smiled at me. Yeah.
He is a gem.
He'll never
He's
die.
a gem.
He'll never quit coaching, ever. All right. And then
He'll never die.
No, he'll die. But as a coach, he'll coach. He'll never, like he is. He just continues to coach.
If Bob ran for mayor in St. Louis
He'd
Park,
win.
I would vote for him.
You don't live in St. Louis Park.
But
My
I
son
would-
does, though.
He does?
Yeah, Jake lives in St. Louis Park.
Oh, he traded up. Good for him.
Yes. All right. Second semi, second quarter. You have who do you have? You have White
Quarter
Bear
or semi?
Quarter semi.
So I've got White Bear playing East Grand Forks
East Grand
in
Forks,
one.
so do I.
And then I've got Woodbury playing Stillwater Red.
I have Edina Green playing Woodbury. We differ on that one big time.
Yes, we do.
All right. And then the championship, I have St. Louis Park defeating Edina Green. It's going to be a Highway 100 battle.
And I've got White Bear beating Woodbury. The Bears are 19-1 on the season. The lone loss 3-2 against Minnetonka White. So the Bears
Really?
are only a couple of bounces away from being undefeated. I like the Bears.
All right. All right. So I have St. Louis Park. And let's see, who's my other winner over there? Who did I have winning? Oh, Hermantown. We both have that one.
This is going to be a very interesting.
All right.
Interesting
now
bracket.
we're going to go to the gold bracket.
This is a weird bracket.
This is the Squirt A's. We have teams in this bracket from California, International Falls, West Fargo, Detroit Lakes, Minot. They're from all over the place in this one. So I'm like, I want to hear what you have to say about who is in your final 8. Let's hear your first round winners.
So a quick note on the gold bracket. This is, for my money, the toughest bracket to pick because, as I mentioned to you before we went on, I was looking at the records of these teams in the Squirt A Now rankings, and a lot of them are around 500 or below 500. And
Right.
you reminded me that, yes, because this tournament is split into platinum and gold. So some of the A teams in the gold bracket are really good as gold bracket teams, but against platinum teams,
Not as much.
not
right.
as much. So this is.
And we use the Now rankings, Peter, as our cutoff line. So some teams got into the platinum because they had a better record or at least better looking record. So they made it into the platinum. And that's how it works.
That just makes sense to me. So my final 8 are Rock Ridge.
Oh, I like that. Over Wyzetta,
Yep.
huh? Okay.
Spring Lake Park.
I got that one over West Fargo.
Eagan.
Over Alex. I like that too.
International Falls.
Oh, yeah. How do you pick against them?
Rosemount.
Over mine. I got Minot.
West Fargo Blue.
Got that one too.
Detroit Lakes.
Ooh, I took Mounds View Irondale.
And the California Golden
Oh, I took the Bears all the way. I took the Bears
Okay. I did
all
not.
the way on mine.
I did not take them all the way.
All right. And in the semifinals, you have
I've got Rock Ridge and I Falls, and I got, Rock Ridge, I Falls. In my
so
other.
you're saying 2 teams from District 12 are going to play each other in the semifinals.
Yep. I'm
That
swinging
would
for the
be-
fences.
That would be amazing.
Swinging for the fences here.
All right.
And then I got Rosemount playing Detroit Lakes in the other semifinal.
I have Wyzetta and Eagan. I used your big association theory on this one.
Yep.
So Wyzetta will play Eagan and win, and then I have Minot beating playing the California Bears, and the Bears will not be bad news Bears. They'll be good news Bears, and
Yeah.
they will make it to the finals against Wyzetta. Who should I take, Wyzetta or California?
Why are you asking me?
I'm just asking you because you and we're so far apart.
I'm the guy that's got International Falls playing Detroit Lakes in the
I like
championship
that.
game.
I like that. I'm going to take California Bears.
I'm taking International Falls.
Wow, that's amazing. That would be amazing to see. Now we saw them. They
That'll be
played
interesting.
They played in the Lumberjack Cup 3 weeks ago, and 4 weeks ago now. What
Squirt?
No, the PBWA
Yeah,
team.
Peewees.
Their uniforms were unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we had a moment in the day. So it's their first game. It's probably like 8 or 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I just ran into Ben Gordon, and who was in rink 5, and I Falls was playing at like 9 o'clock in rink 6. And all of a sudden I had this aha moment. Wait, Ben Gordon is one of the best players. And there's a long list of great players who have played for International Falls,
He's
from
okay.
International Falls. So I come sprinting over, and I find Ben in rink 5, and he's talking to 4 people from International Falls. He goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Okay, I was just making sure that you knew that International Falls PBAs were playing right next door, and you could go talk to him as the current assistant coach, current assistant coach of the Gophers." He goes, "I already got it taken care of, Tony. We're good. Everything is under control here. You can,
Get away from
you go
me.
on to meddling with other things. We got it all under control here." So I thought it was pretty cool that he went and did that and talked to the kids. So
Very cool. Very cool.
all right, we're ready to go now on the Platinum.
We got a platinum division here. Oh my gosh, there's so many
Let's
teams.
have it.
There are so many teams.
You know what's funny is and it definitely goes differently here. I can barely read this. Pool F will play Pool G. Do you see who the top 2 teams in F and G are? Well, I'd like to see who F and G are.
I've got Hermantown.
You got Hermantown over Minnetonka.
Yep. And I got Grand Rapids.
You saw Minnetonka. What didn't you like about Minnetonka?
It's nothing that
what didn't you like?
nothing
What
that I didn't
they
like
do at
about
the XL
them.
Energy Center?
It's nothing that I didn't like about
They did
them.
nothing wrong except cough up a 3-goal lead to Stillwater.
Yeah,
But Hermantown's had some good results too. Really good results.
they
this year.
have. And you know what? I actually really like the fact that Hermantown has won a couple of close games lately, beating Cloquet 4-1, which is a close score in squirt hockey.
Yeah.
And they beat Hibbing 4-3. They've got a 4-3 over Grand Rapids, 3-2 over Duluth, 5-2 over Orono, 4-2 over Orono, excuse me. That tells me that they can win tight games.
I think so too. The game Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Minnetonka.
Why would
on
you say
whose
that? Why would
favorite
you
rink?
say
Who's
that?
favorite? What's my favorite rink of the 8?
5,
My least favorite rink. Sorry, my least favorite rink.
6.
6. Yep.
It's because
There
you
it
hate.
is.
It's because
7
you
a.m.
hate America.
7. No, it has nothing to do with America. It has to do with the penalty box. The music in there is just brutal. So Minnetonka and Hermantown. Circle that one. 7 a.m. Saturday. I'll be there.
It'll be a good game.
All right. So that's F versus G. Who do you have in G? Did you take Stillwater or
Grand Rapids.
you took Grand Rapids? All right. The next one I have Woodbury Royal and East Grand Forks. Who do you have?
We've got Woodbury Royal and Andover.
Andover. Andover's got a good record, but their strength of schedule, that's why they're not in my top 10, is not very good. I would like to see the Huskies playing tougher teams outside of District 10. So I have East Grand Forks and Woodbury Royal.
Yeah.
In quarterfinal number 3, I have Duluth, who's in arguably the easiest pool with Centennial, Warroad, and Prior Lake. And then Chaskatchan is, I'm trying to get their pool number D. Pool letter D, I think they have a easy route to the quarterfinals. We'll just say that.
Yep.
And easy because they're so good. That's the most talented team. It's going to be a good battle with them once they get to the semifinals and the championship. But I'll go Duluth, and they'll play Chaskatchan. And then the final one, who do you have?
I've got Duluth, Chaskatchan, and
Yep.
then I've got OMG Crimson and Woodbury Black.
OMG Crimson. Is that A?
Yep.
Out over Edina White. Okay. All right. I have Edina White. I reffed Edina White earlier this year. That team is really good. They're coached by Keith Ballard and Zach Parisi. What's his name? Zach Parisi.
Some guy.
Some guy named Zach. I also saw Zach coaching his daughter's team in the Dangle Fest, and I saw him last Sunday coaching his daughter's team in Bloomington Rink 2 when I was heading into ref. So
How about that?
nice work, Zach Parisi. And then I have the other one is Woodbury Black. Do you have Woodbury Black too?
Yes.
Okay, so who do you have in your final
I don't
four?
have an Edina team in
any of them.
the 8.
Okay, I
That
have
makes
them
me
in
a
the-
little bit nervous.
Yes, don't ever bet against Edina.
Semifinals, I got Hermantown playing Woodbury Royal and Chaskatchan playing Osseo Maple Grove.
All right, I have Tonka versus Royal, which I think is going to be just an absolute bloodbath. 10:30 a.m. Super Rink 5 on Sunday. They're going to play the semis on Sunday, and then following that game is 11:45. I have Chaskatchan against Woodbury Black, and I have Chaskatchan coming out of that one for a Chaskatchan Woodbury Royal final. That's the number 1 and number 2 teams in the state. I believe there's only 2 teams that are undefeated too.
Correct. I've got Woodbury Royal playing Osseo Maple Grove Crimson
In the finals.
in the final. Yes. And then I've got
So you think Maple Grove is going to beat Chaskatchan?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Talk about cold takes.
Why is that a
Did
cold
you put
take?
little sprinkles on that freezing cold ice cream take of yours? That's
What are you
brutal.
talking about? You took Chaskatchan.
Chaskatchan's really good.
Okay.
You think that OMG is going to beat them?
Yes.
Split association team is going to beat a fully packed association team.
Yes.
Okay, I think you're going to be wrong.
Standing up for co-ops everywhere.
There you go. There you go.
And then I got Woodbury Royal winning the whole deal.
I got Chaska-Chan winning their second. How many would that be for Chaska-Chan? I got to look that one up.
Over the whole history?
No, I don't
idea.
think they've won it twice out of the last 3 years. I think Minnetonka and Chaska-Chan have alternated back and forth the last 4 years.
Wow.
I think that's the case. Because Minnetonka won it last year
Yeah.
over Chaska-Chan, and Chaska-Chan won it the year before, and then Minnetonka won it the year before that. So we had District 6 as pretty much reign supreme over this Squirtacular. Prior to that, it seemed like we had a run of Moorhead and Woodbury going back and forth. So
Yeah, I suppose.
So you have Royal winning it?
Yes.
They won it in 2021 on the famed Schillings. I'm totally drawing a blank. Beckett. I had Miles in my brain. Beckett Schillings game-winning goal past Will Arnold to win it with like a minute left in the game. That was the mask Squirtacular, where we gave out masks for the all-tournament team. Those were the days. Those were the days. All right. Well, thank you very much to General Sports for their sponsorship of the Squirtacular this year. We will move on to our roses and thorns. I got a
General Sports. I'm going to see you in a couple of hours.
I know. I wish I had my skates here. I would bring them. I would give them to you to bring in.
I got to get my skates done.
All right. We have roses and thorns brought to you by Red Balloon. If you ever happen to experience a thorn in your cheek or your eye and you need to get stitches, a great place to go would be Red Balloon. They're open from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. They're in a very convenient location on 73rd and France in Edina. If you need a great emergency, urgent care for pediatrics, go to Red Balloon. Check them out at 73rd and France. Peter, you got a rose or a thorn?
Minute Clinic convenience with a physician experience.
I agree.
Wow, that was a good one for me.
Good work.
That was a good one for me. Am I doing a rose or a thorn here?
You can do whatever you want.
I'll give a rose out to Paul Stoff. I met him.
Wow, who is that?
He is the Moose Goheen tournament director.
Oh, nice.
For White Bear Lake.
What's his name? Paul what?
Stoff. Stauff.
Oh, nice.
And he came up and said hello at the Moose Goheen, and he was just really happy that we were there and covering their event. And from what I saw, everything went off without a hitch. They started their championship games on time. It was fantastic. They did the anthem. They did starting lineups. They had music between whistles. So White Bear Lake did a fantastic job on
Love
Moose
hearing
Goheen.
that. Great experience for the kids. That's what matters most. All right, Paul, thank you. All right, I'm going to give out my rose as well. I'm going to give it to this kid. I don't know what his first name is. His last name is Gaida, Gaida. I was reffing PBCs and Bantam Cs over at Bloomington on Sunday. And he's number 77 for the Jefferson PBC team. And it doesn't have on their website, it's just L Gaida. So I'm going to call him Lorenzo for now because I don't have a name for him. So Lorenzo Gaida is his name.
Not Luke, not Lewis.
Now, Lorenzo. We'll go with Lorenzo.
Okay.
And he's number 77. And here's what happened. So I dropped the puck as the official. I dropped the puck. And I don't remember ever the puck getting caught in my skates. Mm-hmm. But on 4 face-offs in a row that El Gaida was taking, it got caught in my skates. And on the 4th one, the kid just lost it. He's like, come on, ref. Like, get out of the way. And I'm like, as a referee or anyone would, the last thing they want is the puck in their skates with 2 13-year-old boys jamming their stick at it. Because you're going down. I will go down. The last place I want it is in my skates, right?
Right.
So El Gaida, Lorenzo, said, ref, or something like that. So I'll say this. I don't ref for the money. I ref because I enjoy it. I've learned a lot. I love being around kids and, engaging with them, talking with them, telling the goalie you made a great save. I really enjoy being on the ice with the kids. It's been a blast. So the next time up, El Gaida comes up to to a face-off, I say to him, I'm like, hey, I'll make you a promise. This one is not going to go in my skates if you promise not to get mad if it does. And El Gaida looked up, got his white face mask on, and gave me this just smile about this big, as if to say, hey, I get it. I'm wrong. You're wrong. We're wrong. We're buddies. And so I have a friend for life in Lorenzo, Lawrence, Luke, Landon, Gaida, number 77 from Bloomington Jefferson PWC.
I know who it is.
Did you find his name?
You want to know what his name
Let's
is.
see what his real name is.
His name is Luke.
Luke. There you go. Luke
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo sounded
Lorenzo
better. Sounded
Gaida.
better at the time. All right. What do you got for a thorn?
My thorn actually comes from a tweet that I saw coming across our feed.
Here we go.
And it's to whomever parents the children that forced Yanmar Arena to enact an under 13 must be accompanied by adult rule.
Wait a second. Go back. Say it one more time.
So there's a tweet out that you and
Yep.
Carl and Danny discussed on the Boys High School pod, and it's Yanmar Arena now has a policy if you're under
So
13.
what's the thorn?
The thorn is that somehow there were some children who forced Yanmar Arena to enact this rule.
So it's the children's fault, not the parents' fault?
I said the parents in my
Oh,
first
okay.
comment.
Yeah.
It is the parents of the children that forced
Yes,
Yanmar
okay,
to
yeah, I
enact
agree.
this rule.
I agree with
Because
that.
the further you get away from the metro, the less rules typically apply.
I
Could
agree
you
with that.
imagine
I agree with that.
Moorhead Youth Hockey instituting a rule that if you were under 13,
Oh, my
you
Lord.
needed to be
Oh, my Lord.
accompanied by a parent? It would never happen.
I know.
But that just
know.
tells me how, like, if you told me that Braemar Arena instituted that rule, I would say, yeah, that's about par for the course. But somewhere like Grand Rapids, where hockey is still as pure as it is, I feel like they were forced into it after something horrible happened. And I don't know what it was, but I would encourage parents to actually keep an eye on their child when they're at the rink, because it isn't your property. So let's treat it with respect.
I think it's
and let's not
absolutely
break
hysterical.
things and knock lights off. And oh, by the way, saying they're just kids is not an excuse. It's an indictment on your inability to control them, or at
I
least
agree.
monitor their behavior.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a great bit on our show, and that's all I really care
Hearing it
about,
from
really.
Carl was also very funny.
I know. He asked me, I don't know if it made the bit. I goes, well, what is it? Who are these people, Tony? And I'm like, it's probably 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 to 10-year-olds, but it's not 11 and 12 and 13-year-olds, but they're usually too busy doing other things. They're not smashing property, I don't think. But they had to draw the line at somewhere, and 13 years old was the level.
And according to a couple of the responses, they're not the only place that has had to do this.
Correct.
So let's treat facilities with respect, and let's leave it cleaner than you found it. Isn't that a rule from the Cub Scouts?
Yeah, exactly.
Leave the campsite cleaner than you found it.
I agree with that. All right. My thorn goes out to, I hear a lot of crazy things while reffing. And I'm going to kind of set the scene for you. There was a hit. I was doing Bantam season. There was a hit. And the player lost his balance, tremendously lost his balance. And the hit was not clean. It was, the kid's arms came up. Once the arms come up, it's elbowing, and you could call a 2 and a 10 for elbowing and head contact. You could call a myriad of different things. Mm-hmm. And from a certain perspective, maybe from your home team perspective or away team perspective, everything is always better. The puck went in, your eyes see the puck go in when it didn't go in. I understand that. But I had a guy scream out and I didn't even make the call, just for the record. My arm did not go up. My partner's arm went up, and he did a nice job. And we went to discuss it because we were discussing whether this is 2 minutes, is this 2 and 10, or is it a major? And we came to the conclusion it was just a 2-minute penalty.
Okay.
And
So the least of all evils.
Yeah, I thought it was a kind of a rough hit, but I didn't feel like it was. He kind of just came up with his elbow into his chin and kind of startled him. So I thought it was a clean hit, but it was high, and so I would have been just a rough 2-minute roughing. That's what that's what I would have called. He wanted my opinion on it, and that's what I gave it to him, and he accepted that.
Yep.
But it wasn't a dad. I feel like it was a brother or an uncle or somebody. It was a younger voice. We'll just say a cousin or something. So that's a clean hit. So my thorn goes out to that, and this is my reminder to everybody. Okay, let the Zamboni drivers drive the Zamboni. Let the box workers run the box. Let the refs ref. Let the coaches coach, and fans let the players play, and let the fans cheer. Don't jeer, cheer. Okay?
Don't jeer, cheer.
There's my 2 cents for today, and I'm just being as polite as I possibly can. How'd I do?
I thought you did great.
All right. Last but not least, let's thank our sponsors, Breakaway Academy, Red Balloon, Map South Hockey, and General Sports. And a special thanks to Mike Larson and Robert Braun for making today's show a special show. And good luck to all of the 96 teams playing in this weekend's YHH Squirtacular in Blaine.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.